This is the ideal time for us to celebrate and acknowledge what has happened in the last year or so since we last met during our AGM. Certainly, unprecedented times. We knew we were in for a long haul with COVID and the effects of this pandemic. And here we are, pretty much a year later, not much progress from a health perspective, except for the fact that vaccination is being rolled out. Nevertheless, the times are unprecedented. However, there has never been maybe a better time than challenging times for us to really rise to the occasion and deliver what could potentially be a difference in our lives and that of our businesses. This did not come easy and did not come automatically. It came thanks to hard work here at the Chamber, the staff, our council, our board of management members, teamwork, lots of alignment of that team. You might have realized how engaged we all were and how aligned we all were in the expectations and in the delivery of what it is that we were doing. Certainly lots of positive energy. So despite all the difficulties that we had, there were lots of attitudes that were positive in pretty much all sectors of our organization, and which has therefore led to the success story that we are able to celebrate today. And that those positive energy didn't come from the few, it came from the many, it came from you, hundreds of chamber members that have been engaged in a manner that could drive difference and drive change. Certainly lots of focus on what really mattered, on what mattered most, and certainly ambition. We certainly were, I think, an organization that celebrated the ambition of doing what is right, what is ethical, rise to the occasion, and therefore able to influence in a positive, structured manner. So, Deputy President Marisa, Vice Presidents Liz Barbaros-Sant and Andrew Mamo, Board of Management members, members of our chamber, thousands of you, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let us be clear, there is history to this. This does not start now. The Chamber of Commerce has a glorious history, a history of past presidents, past councils, past people in the past that have developed the Chamber to what it is today. We started this journey about 2 years ago to recognize the strong history of the Chamber, to recognize where we are, but more importantly, to understand clearly where it is that we wanted to go. So we studied that really well. We engaged experts to tell us pretty much what we started to understand, but we did that scientifically. We certainly wanted to have a business plan that connected where it is that we were to where it is that we wanted to be, what our objectives are, what our ambitions were. And this came about through ethical processes, researched, certainly apolitical, and very professional. We wanted to be relevant and timely. We wanted to make sure that we were not late, and we wanted to make sure that we are relevant. So therefore, our communication strategy, which has become really strong over the last 2 years. And as you can see, we are strengthening our communications arm to ensure that our work is well communicated, well connected, not only to our members, but also to the public at large, and certainly to the authorities and government. We certainly wanted to champion truth, wanted to champion the fact that we were coherent, impartial, timely, as I said earlier, effective, but certainly creative. Gone are the times when we repeated methodologies and systems like we used to. We certainly wanted to use the right tools, the right systems that engaged us in the right way, in a positive way, in an efficient way, to drive the change that we were after. I cannot but dwell a bit of my time on aspects related to good governance, to the rule of law. We have suffered a lot. The stories that we're going through right now and what we hear from the press and from the courts are shocking, to say the least. It is a dark moment in the history of our country. It is a moment that is also affecting our quality of life, certainly our businesses. And this is the time for us to recognize what it is that needs to be done to ensure that this never happens again. As you know, the Chamber of Commerce took a leading role in this, put together a number of recommendations that have been taken on board by our institutions, by our government. We are chasing each and every one of those recommendations to ensure that our work is not lost, but certainly acknowledged, appreciated, and used. We wanted to make sure that after this episode, this dark history of our story, we heed the lessons to be learned. We need to be sensitive to what we're going through, to what led us here. We need to be honest on what it is that was wrong, that is different to what is right, but certainly reflecting on the fact that whilst this is painful, this is an opportunity for us to restructure and be better. Moneyval is certainly another part of the story that has influenced pretty much our time here at the Chamber, but also the manner with which we have gained traction through our efforts and our actions. Therefore, the effect this has had on our reputation over the last months has been significant. And therefore, we as Chamber of Commerce, as you probably know, have engaged with the other partners in the areas of money laundering, on tax institutions, with the accountants, with the legal minds of this world, to be able to come together and collectively support the institutions to make that difference. This is a chapter that we need to go through. We need to learn lessons, but we also need to ensure that whilst the corrective actions are being taken, the bureaucracy and the activities that regulators will take will not limit, remove the true energies, the true actions that the entrepreneurs that will take us through this pandemic, that are the ones that need to work very hard together with their employees, need to be encouraged. And we should not put load on these people as we all strive to get us out of this circumstance we find ourselves in, coupled with the pandemic that the world has brought us. So we really need to make sure that we learn our lessons, however ensuring that we encourage the ethical, the honest business person. And therefore, with honesty, integrity, transparency, accountability, and with the checks and balances that are required, we need to make sure that we exit this in a victorious manner in all sectors, both public and also private. I cannot, however, but not be happy, proud to have participated within the Chamber in developing what we today call the National Economic Vision. A number of you have participated with us in the draft of the first version, but also in that think tank, hundreds of people that contributed towards the ability to reshape, restructure the economic vision, keeping in mind that COVID became a reality and COVID was going to accelerate those changes in unprecedented manners. I am proud to have been asked to invite the Cabinet of Ministers, including the Prime Minister, here in this building, here in Valletta, used our hall in which we used to meet so much in other days, and there the government launched the National Economic Vision that pretty much reflected the work conducted by the Chamber over the previous 1.5 years, thanks to most of you here participating in this meeting. Not only that, but we also saw the opposition that was invited to the Chamber building, and which also acknowledged in its entirety the economic vision drafted by the Chamber of Commerce. I dare say that the social partners, all the social partners at MCSD, acknowledge that this is the right way forward, that the start of the beginnings that started here within our building, with our people, with yourselves, and acknowledged by the government and the opposition, therefore a cross-party agreement to where it is that we want to be in the next 10 to 30 years, is something that the social partners, whether unions, employer bodies, or civil society, have now agreed that this is the way to go and this is what we need to work on. We are very proud to therefore see an apolitical and a bipartisan collective agreement on the way that we want to move forward. The Chamber did not stop there. It's easy. Well, it is work to draft a vision. It is harder and maybe more tangible if we start putting nuts and bolts into the mechanics of of the engine that will take us there. So the Chamber relentlessly drafted, engaged most of you in our what we call today horizontal thematic committees. These committees that are able to focus on specific sectors of our economic vision, to be able to put the nuts and bolts together and come up with policies, ideas, innovative solutions, to be able to address each and every part of that economic vision. To therefore not only criticize the policymaker and the regulator in their abilities or inabilities to achieve that change in a timely manner, but to use our own expertise, our own abilities, our own suggestions to support, to be able to assist in the implementation, the timely and effective professional implementation of those changes. We are therefore eager to move from lockdown to rebound. It is useless us talking about what is stopping us, more useful to see how this pandemic, how these challenges are going to be turned into an opportunity. We are a small country, we all know each other, we all know our strengths and weaknesses, and therefore able to get there before others, our competition. And the competition is not in Malta, our competition lies beyond our shores. Let's be aware of that. So therefore, when we talk about wage subsidy that the Chamber worked very hard to get for our members and the business community in general, which is really a support of employment. So as we know, those monies are really going towards the support of wages of our employees. Really and truly, what we are now focusing on is our ability to have you, our entrepreneurs, our business leaders, our creative minds, our hard workers, to come up, to be supported, to be motivated, to come up with the new ideas, with the new systems that are able to take us to the economic vision I mentioned earlier. And we need therefore all the encouragement, all the financial support, all the motivation that we could possibly need. These are difficult moments, but if we reap the benefits of this stop and think moment, opportunity that we have, the chances are that we will be in a better place soon enough, and hopefully before the rest of the planet. So what are the next steps? Clearly, COVID is a major disruptor, in itself a negative aspect from a health point of view, of course, but certainly a great opportunity for us to be better, for us to become more competitive in the medium to long term, and that should be our focus. What is the Chamber doing? Certainly the Chamber is strengthening its team, has been strengthening its team in all its areas, has been restructuring, of course. We now have a fabulous team of people that are energized, ever motivated. They are the true beating heart of this organization. I cannot thank them enough, really. And that team needs to be supported, structured, but also supported with further resources. KEET is the latest addition to our team, and of course, it's immediately apparent, I guess, to you what it is that we're trying to do and what places we're trying to get to, and therefore what objectives we're trying to achieve. Nothing but the best will make us happy. So our people need to feel that they are the best. Our council need to feel that we are truly providing our best, and we need to be appreciated by you, our members, but certainly by the authorities, by government, the opposition, all the institutions, social partners, civil society need to recognize that this is an ever-evolving leader in the heart of the Maltese economy and the Maltese nation. We therefore consider ourselves, or wish to be, the undisputed partner in business with you. Not to do business, of course, but we really need to feel, you need to feel, or we really need to work hard to ensure that you all feel that we are your trusted partner in enabling you to achieve your ultimate goals. We have to realize that our goals are not limited to the opportunities or to the limitations of our shores, but are really global. So what is happening now, or what we need to do now, should not be a reflection of what's happening in our country only, but should be really a reflection of what's happening across the whole planet, because I might remind you that the whole planet is in disruption as we speak. So moving forward, certainly the suggestion would be that we keep thinking outside the box and keep reinventing ourselves. So the think tank organization, of which about 150 of you participated, needs to remain alive and needs to be what I would call the silver bullet ahead of the actions of our chamber, of the business of our chamber. The think tank, those people that the new council will put together to be able to think ahead of the curve, to be able to support our business lines, our horizontal thematics, and our verticals, of course, our economic groups, to be able to make sure that we are timely, we are effective, and able to be in support of the changes that we truly want. I guess that you know that amongst all the thematics, all the horizontals that are supported by our sponsors, of course, that you have seen probably on the slides a few minutes and probably during this AGM, you are seeing them now. There are 4 horizontal main pillars. One of them is sustainability. We cannot avoid the fact that climate change is going to have an effect on our personal life and our business. Human capital, without that we are nothing, so talent and the ability to nurture the best human capital we are able to get hold of in Malta, but also outside from Malta. The fact that we are on a wave of acceleration of technology is something that is a matter that we cannot ignore, and we need to embrace what that opportunity for technology is able to bring to us. So that is another 4, the 3rd horizontal pillar that we're working on. And last but not least, maybe an opportunity within the dark cloud that we are living is governance. Governance, not at the level of Castile, of government, not necessarily at the level of the regulator, but at our levels, yours and mine. We need to make sure that we are ethical in what we do, that the leadership that we provide is truly of integrity, of trust, of maturity, because we are the ones that should be able to make a difference. And including governance structures within our corporate companies, whether small, medium, or large, is the way to go. And that is going to be certainly a foundation of the success of future economy, but certainly the ambition and the priority of the Chamber as we move forward. I cannot but recognize that thought leadership is what we are providing in this country, can be led by young entrepreneurs. So why we have focused so much on our Young Chamber network. The young entrepreneurs, you listening to us, you are the ones that are able to really visibly appreciate what is bound to happen in the next 10 to 30 years. The Chamber needs for you to be at the center of the Chamber, like you have been in the last 2 years. And we want more of that, because that is what is going to be pumping the energy and the motivation of this organization moving forward. Certainly the ability for us to be inclusive, and therefore the women at the top tiers of business, also at the top tiers of this organization, of the Chamber of Commerce. I am proud to see that 1/3 of the candidates that have enrolled in the election of this campaign are women. That is a first in the history of the Chamber, something that we should celebrate and build on. This is not the end. Certainly, the fact that we need to realize that our CSR priorities, therefore the environmental, social, and governance priorities need to be clear to all of us and to our members, and also to the people out there that connect with the Chamber. Certainly, the Sustainable Development Goals cannot go unnoticed and will remain certainly a part of the future of the success story of the Chamber. We will therefore be investing more in research and policy resources, both human and technological. This is the way to go. We cannot afford not to engage the full house and the full ability and the full talent and the full resources of the Chamber if we do not put our money where our mouth is in a proverbial fashion. So we will definitely be investing more in our team, which is already at a good height. Talk is great. Unless we're able to measure what we achieve, then this could be futile. So KPIs is what we do in business. KPIs, key performance indices, and our ability to measure what we are doing here as a Chamber of Commerce, but what we are able to achieve on the national front, and what the regulators, the policymakers, government are able to achieve on account or to deliver on account of the recommendations that we make, will be the order of our business moving forward. Unless we are tangible, unless we are real, all this is talk. We do not want to be there. We want to be impactful. So certainly, we want to work closely with business to stabilize, strategize, reinvent, and reinvest. In conclusion, the Chamber is here for you, our members. Yes, We do have an influence on what is happening in the country, but ultimately, business today is not only about GDP growth, it's really about the economy, the restructuring of our economy. It is us who really understand how to take it there. We are the ones that should lead change in this country and motivate the politicians, the regulators to follow suit. We have started that journey very boldly in the last year or so. Certainly, this is not the end. We need to do more. There's lots of change that will happen in this country in the foreseeable number of months, and we need to be ahead of the curve, ahead of the change, to be able to influence it positively. Certainly, it is ethical business, therefore, that will lead this national transformation. No other way. Business is ethical. Anything short of that is not part of the chamber. I cannot call it ethical business. We need to make sure that we are strong and we are well. This pandemic has certainly got us to realize that unless all of us and our employees are strong and well, physically and mentally, therefore, we will not be able to achieve the ambitions that we all have. So we are going to prioritize health and wellness as a way forward. Certainly, as I said earlier, we cannot be divorced from the fact that the world is going through what I am calling, what the economist calls, techceleration, which is the acceleration of technology in an unprecedented manner. It's not only about internet, it's not only about computers and laptops and mobile phones. It is really all that instrumentation that is able to measure everything that we do in any part of our business, that is able, therefore, to get us to be sensitive to our actions, that will make us more effective, more efficient, and therefore impactful. And we need to form part of that. Certainly, TechMT, a daughter company organization of the Chamber of Commerce, is really much at the head of that curve. Talent and education, we have a thematics on that. Without those resources, without that priority, we will not get anywhere. Quality. It is useless talking about quality as a word unless we are able to measure that. So if we want to be impactful, we want to do that qualitatively, and qualitatively is not a term that we will use loosely, but we will certainly want to measure every achievement of that area. Good governance I have spoken about. The zero carbon economy, which is very close to my heart. I dare say that at zero carbon economy objective in 2050, and the 55% reduced carbon economy by 2030 is really an opportunity for us to achieve pretty much everything that I've been speaking about. And the Chamber of Commerce, through a number of its thematics, 5 of these thematics, and we'll have more moving forward, will certainly be driving, yes, that objective in the bigger picture, but in a more detailed manner through all the areas that will achieve their targets in contributing towards that larger objective, which is the zero carbon business. Certainly inclusion, I've talked about that earlier. The need for us, I think we have appreciated that working together has gained us a lot of respect, but also a lot of results. And that should not only stop at the level of the Chamber of Commerce. We're working to engage the respect of the institutions through the collective engagement of all. We might not agree at the level of intellect. We might have many ideas that it's great for us to debate that. But if we are emotionally aligned, if we emotionally feel that we are doing the right thing, because we emotionally are connected with the correct and unified objective, then the collective opinions of our thoughts through the Chamber of Commerce that represents all sectors of business will be able to make the Chamber stronger, but more importantly, the opportunities of success in your own businesses to be just as successful and just as stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chamber is not on its own. We are in this together. If we work together as strong as, and even more so, stronger than we have in the next couple of years, I think the Chamber of Commerce will be not only in its right place, but will do justice to the needs of this country, will do justice to the individual needs of our own businesses, and ultimately we will be serving our own quality of life and our health, fundamentally a good service. So I look forward to keep on contributing in the next couple of years, together with the new council that will be elected following this AGM, to ensure that these objectives are achieved in the best, the most impactful, and the most efficient of ways. Thank you.